try to put a bus station close to their environment, they will protest and tell you that it's going to bring the wrong people. So, but when you go further, if I start with, I want to assume we all know about transport, but I disagree to some extent because the way we define transport is one place to another. No, for me, no. I have put my definition since 2012, and I still keep to it with one modification. And it is, I try to describe in terms of business. That is, it is a management of flow of processes. And that process is the various factors of production, whether it is human, labor, investment, capital, whatever. So how you manage those processes that has to do with mobility is, in my own view, the way I define transportation. Then the other way is to now divide it in physical terms when I leave it from the business side. The spatial management of our environment, and the benefit can be direct or indirect. I don't want to go into all those ones. I don't see transport as the way the academics see it anymore. I see it in terms of business. If you get the transport system right, Nigeria GDP will fly. Now the lower part is the one that I want us to pay attention. Also concerned with that in the next 10 to 30 years, as we approach SDG 2030, will increasingly focus on transportation, mobility, and it will determine, the transport system will determine where people live, where people walk, and what to do. Today, if you like, go and live in Ikeja and work in Lekki, you will be killing yourself. If you work in Lekki to look for accommodation, if your office is in Ikeja, or whatever, it's better you live in Ikeja. Don't say you want to live in Ikeja. And that is what people are doing now. So it's already happening all over the world, but in our own time, it's not happening. We are still living the way that is unsustainable. And that brings me to the issue of sustainability itself. When we talk of sustainability, we are quick to start thinking of greenhouse gases. No, it goes beyond that. The environment, the socio-economics, and then the fiscal. And then the next thing is why transport itself. I've listed, is it 9 or 10? I try to make it 10. Those are some of the reasons why we need a properly planned and sustainable transportation system. We need to link people to jobs, anyway, create wealth, not just moving around saying you have a job. We have to also redistribute the wealth. That is the job of mobility. Take mobility out, poverty will take over there. My PhD studies tells me that. And it tells me also that people in Lagos are greatly poor because they have transport. We have transport poverty in Lagos. And I know the people from Nexan are here. I was privileged to listen to the report of the Blue Line before we started. That was from 2009 when they told us that it would not be viable. And we disagree. And they gave us simple. The people in Ojo Badagry area don't travel more than a few kilometers. And they don't travel more than 30 minutes. Because they all have a business to do where they live. The people from Okoko don't go beyond Maji. The people from Badagry don't go beyond Okoko. Go and do this, we'll see it. So that is an example of sustainable system. They live within where they work. And the next thing they told us that the train will also be competing with BRT corridor Ghana. So people will prefer to take the buses. So we decided then that whether viable or no viable, we will run a train station up to the border. By that time, the environment will have when I did my study, it confirmed the same thing that those people in that corridor don't really travel long distances. How my supervisor was a chance. So when you talk of tourism, transport is also key. That's why Nigeria tourism system is where we are. Two things. It used to be transportation before. Now another one has started to it. That's security. So it used to be a transport issue because you can't get to the site. So transport also support tourism, and you can read the rest. So the next slide. I also tried to go back. You know, it's not all bad stories. Since 1914, I started from 1914 because that's when somebody gave us the name Nigeria, amalgamation of the South and North protectorate. And we've done so many beautiful things. We have railway started 18. 98, and eventually 1912. So many stories, but today is not for railroad. But pre-independence, we made substantial progress in rail transport, in both operation and infrastructure provision, linking people to the farms, farm settlements, farm markets, raw materials, mining site. It was like we were just going to be at the top of the world within a short period, but somewhere along the line, we missed it, and we started moving back to the roads. Yeah, the Gowon administration did a fantastic job. They connected states, connected cities, but for 60 years after independence, the rail was stopped, and we were stopped with road transport accounting for, I don't know what it is now. The academy will say 80%, some will say 90%. Whatever percentage they say it, the road mode of moving people and goods will make us not to be fully sustainable. So post-independence, we've not done fantastically well. But let me also say here that some private individuals have done well, especially in Lagos, these are past, LMTS, LSTC, and all the other ones. Then on the eastern flank, the Kennedy Chukwu, I understand is no more. In that business, we have the Chisco and the rest who are now the champion. So we have then at the level of government, we need to remember the likes of LUPT1, LUPT2. Many people don't know what is LUPT1. Lagos Urban Transport Plan 1 and 2. That's what became Lamata. So it was I don't want to go to that story. So this LUPT1 became LUPT2, and LUPT2 graduated to become Lamata by around 2000. And the good story today is that that baby of 2000 is now big baby and is doing fantastically well as well. But we also need to mention the effort of Alhaji Lateef Jakonde in providing sustainable transport system in Nigeria. It was the same time with Egypt, Alexandria also. If we have allowed that train system to come into being, Nigeria will have been close to sustainable in transportation system. But too bad, today we are still struggling. And let me also say, we also need to acknowledge the Lagos Strategic Transportation Master Plan, which laid out the balls very real and how everything should be. And when I listen to news today, by a lot of commentaries by experts, I think they always get to miss it, that the Transportation Master Plan for Lagos started far back around the 1960s, 67, when Lagos had tram. There was tram in Lagos in those days, and there was telephone in Lagos before Nigeria had telephone. And the first rail system in Nigeria too started by Lagos government, not Lagos State, Lagos colony government. It was that line that joined the Baro line that formed that became the Nigerian Railway. So we've always had it beautiful. I believe some people are angry that your generation will see a better one. Then we also need to note the effort of some sub-nationals in improving the sustainability of the system. It's not just a national. You have the Lagos BRT line, Lag Ferry, Laswa, Lagos Blue Line, and the Lagos Red Line. Also, don't forget, the first sub-national rail in Nigeria was not in Lagos. It was at Abuja, FCT. And so you must also commend the effort made. It was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari, and I was privileged to be the mandate secretary when that was commissioned. And it operated for 1.5 or so years before COVID shut it down. When COVID shut down mobility all over the world. And one thing you also need to know, I've already gone into the topic now. The Abuja Master Plan, Transport Master Plan, is also one of the best in Nigeria. In the sense that it took all the errors of every other part of Nigeria to create a sustainable master plan. And that master plan has what no other state in Nigeria has today. That's called the pedestrian circulation pathway system, that allows you to move from different zones in Abuja without taking bus. You can cross, Abuja has a lot of valleys. So if you don't want to take buses in Abuja, you can just go through the pedestrian circulation pathway and cross the valleys. And you'll notice that the roads in Abuja are also designed with walkways. And that's what what you call the non-motorized transport. So if only we keep to the master plan of Abuja, you will see that Abuja will be the first city in Nigeria to move towards a sustainable market. Don't also take it from Lagos system that has always, in face of all urbanization stress of people moving all the way down to Lagos just to survive, and that has also affected for us to see almost all the things happening there. I'm also aware of efforts by so many other states. Oh, there's one thing I want to do. So I said kudos was given to planners of Abuja FCT, his past former ministers, and most importantly the current Honorable Minister H.E. Nyesom Wike, for not only keeping faith with the noble vision but daring to exceed beyond. I think Wike deserves a round of applause. I'm saying this because I went there before, and everything you need to do is in the master plan. Just like everything anybody needs to do in Lagos is also in Lagos master plan. It's just for us to have the political will. So he has a political will and he's pursuing it in his own way. Whether you like it or not, Wike is daring or not. Let me also move further by saying I'm not unaware of what is happening on that state. Other states too are doing their best to improve sustainability in the transport sector. And you have states like Kano, Kaduna, Delta, Edo, Oyo, Ogun, among others. They're doing fine. And also mention of the northern part of Nigeria investment in interstate. We used to think it's the southeastern part. Almost all the states in the northern part of Nigeria move people from their state to other parts of the country in massive flows. So we also need to commend them for doing that. And then the private sector too have done well. Apart from Lagos and FCT, many of our states are not actually moving towards sustainable transport system. I believe we could do better, and we are not doing bad. We are actually doing the best within the situation we have found as military goods, stable government, economic, so many things now. Security, you watch when I say security, I didn't say security. So journalists don't say I mentioned security. I say security issues because it is when you use the bad words that the media. Somebody posted something recently that happened at Ojude-Oba while the BBC was reporting beautiful dressing, fantastic culture. One of Nigeria's newspapers was discussing about people who are fighting. Is that what you want to report? So please don't. I didn't mention security yet. And that's why I cross challenges and put issues so that we need to be positive and appreciate what we have. Let me also quickly mention that in the last few years, this current administration has also done fantastic. I'm not speaking to eulogize Mr. President, but we need to touch whatever is going on fine. The removal of fuel subsidy is one way towards sustainability. At least it makes us realize that we can't just be burning fossil fuels, which contributes to the greenhouse gas effect. That's from the transportation angle. I'm not talking from the economic pocket. And then also the harmonization of the Naira exchange. Those are two policies that are cautious, very bold. So people say painful, but to me I say it is gainful. You know why? Because it creates more money for us to invest in other modes of sustainable living. And whether we like it or not, the world is moving away from fossil fuel, and there should be no reason to keep subsidy, provided the savings are effectively used. And also the remove railway from explosive to concurrent list. What that does is that we are now getting closer to sustainable mobility, because we cannot continue to move 1, 3, 10, 25, 50 people by bus. Then commence the conclusion over 40 years abandon Badagry to Sokoto. What that would be is that you can travel less time, burn less gases, create a transit-oriented development along that road. I think that's passing through 9 states. Then the almighty Lagos Calabar highway that was 30 kilometers was commissioned. That also will open way for about 30 other, sorry, another 6 to 9 other states, and we start with transit-oriented demand. That's why you see the president said people state government should not just start awarding, converting the water to land or just building estate. It has to be properly planned. That's the essence of mobility. When roads are constructed, when rail systems are made to pass through your area, the development around those areas must be properly planned. So we must commend this government for that. Then there is an unprecedented investment in rail infrastructure. Many of you will start saying, wow, when the news finally came out. This government will be spending much more than possibly all government combined in the last 60 years, in the next 2 years, on the rail sector. And many times in Nigeria, we start seeing the plan that will connect them to a national rail master plan that is going to be connected to regional rail master plan and also connected to the state master plan. And that is coming. So another thing this government has done that is worthy of sustainability is the establishment of the PCNGI. Yeah, the representative of the governor just told me that he thinks we should go electric. Yes, that's correct. Electric is where everybody is going now. We can use that gas to generate electricity. Use what you have. We have gas. Those people don't have gas. They've used that gas. They move from it. We have gas. We have coal. They said we should not use coal. When war started in Ukraine, they went back to coal. So everybody will use what you have. Provided we find a sustainable way. We can use our gas to power. Good news. The Nigerian Railway is partnered with PCNGI to change all our diesel engines, diesel generators to CNG, and we're also partnering with them and the Ministry of Gas and the Ministry of Petroleum Resources to start moving our trains using LNG. We have completed the proof of concept and we'll move with 70% LNG and 30% diesel. All this will bring our cost to a low. But we'll use our operating cost by 70%. He said we are working with some agencies of government, I don't want to mention, where we'll be converting, putting all the rooftops will now be covered with solar so that we can really bring down the cost of operation. And many more in 2 years, I think this government deserves a round of applause. I want Mr. President to hear the applause. Now, having gone through this, we must not forget what happened in the past. And these are some of the things that many of us don't know. They were yet one sustainable transportation system. The framework roadmap and financing option for mass transit operations in Nigeria 2014 is a document. I was part of those who generated the document. It involves all commissioners, it involves all state governors, and it was shared by Mr. Vice President Namati. That document details what our public transport equipment should look like, not what we have today. There is no way for Koropi in our public transport system. Whether it's Lagos or anywhere, there should be no way for those kind of products. Whether it is last mile or 10 miles or first mile, there should be no room in a proper sustainable transport system. So we are just adjusting to culture and tradition. In this sector, I think the difference should be known. We should do the proper thing. Taxi systems are there, they are viable. Mass transit system, there is no way in Lagos that those mass transit buses cannot transfer as well. When we were in primary and secondary school, Surulere has bus 72 that runs around Akerele. I live in Surulere, I school in Ikeja, and I would trek to Yaba, pick bus 92 or 95, I can't remember, to take me to Ikeja by Sheraton Hotel. Or you drop at and if you miss your bus, you take the one from. You will see one call around and bus, so that's where the bus. So these are the way, and that was what NUPT 1, NUPT 2 design, and that's what Lamata is implementing. My plea to government is not to deviate from this plan. We should not be distracted. We should face sustainable way of moving people. Therefore, more left Lagos voluntarily. When Lagos deployed a lot of private sector buses. And the way Module left, when Korobe came, I can say it here, it's not my paper. In 2013, when Okada was restricted in Lagos, because it wasn't part of Lagos transportation plan, why do you want it? Okada destroyed the entire Lamata program, or was destroying it. If you put mass transit on the road, and Okada is running parallel, who will enter the mass transit? We will wait for time for it to fill. You just enter Okada. Now that's what POP is doing to our mass transit system. They will kill the mass transit system if you don't act fast and make a transport system very sustainable. We stopped, the government then stopped registration of tricycle September 2013 till May 2015. No tricycle was registered in Lagos because the plan was to allow the mass transit buses to start moving to all those areas. So I'm sharing this as a sideway. There is also the document Economic Recovery Growth that helped us out of COVID, bouncing back, Nigeria. So all these programs, especially number 5, the 5-year strategic master plan, number 6, and then the compressed natural gas. Now, I mentioned, if you go to the blue line, of all federal institutions in this country in sustainable transport system, I mentioned the FRC. I still know the FRC, and I want you to read it, man, so I can tell the commercial. Of all federal institutions, most stands out the Federal Road Safety Corps, ensuring road safety, regulation, and management on our road since the inception in 1988. I think that's also, I mentioned 3 organizations. Also, and at the state level, the establishment of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency under the current president, that was in the year 2000, also is worthy of mention. And that is why last month became replicated in almost all states in Nigeria. And that organization will be 25 years next month. And I think that's not good. And I also mentioned the Abuja Citywide Pedestrian Circulation Pathway Master Plan, which is one of its kind in Nigeria, and is to appeal to the Abuja government. They should pay more attention to that document. I was privileged to stumble on it, and we tried to do the best we can do. The whole of a large part of Abuja have started encroaching on it. You know, if you go to Asoko Road, the elite part of Abuja, you see the dustbins along the walkway. You see people cut their motor, what do you call that thing, carriageway, and they destroy. Normally, those things are supposed to be protected. The walkway within those neighborhoods is to allow our little kids to take their bikes. For those who want to take bikes to work, they should be able to ride. And on the major roads too, you see. But I think if they can do more, Abuja City may just be one of the first cities in Africa that will be meeting that standard. It's something worthy of emulation. Lagos State made effort, the one that I can remember, during the Fashola regime, and we tried to do something at Weko. We went to Osborne Avenue 2, we went to Glover, where we can do some little revival to create. But as soon as we create it, the big men will just call their motor carriage to cross it or turn the place to their dustbin. I think those are what is actually the little low-hanging sustainability issue. I've not got into electric vehicles. So if you do those little ones, it allows people to walk around. If you ever lived in Ikoyi of those days, or you live in I went to an estate in that don't let me talk. Because what did I want to do? So let me keep that off record. Now, I listed so many things that we need to consider if we want to get into the sustainable transport system. There are so many, I'm not going to discuss them. I discussed them to the commissioners of transport some time ago, and just for people to see and follow. So some of the key issues include, I tried to make the challenge, I put challenges so that you know I'm following the topic. But I have to be people-centric too. And we have infrastructural deficiencies. So whether we like it or not, we just be talking. If you go electric, we don't have the charging points. If you want to use mass transit, the portals are there. If you want to do CNG, we have already surpassed the supply. You know, whichever one we do, we have infrastructural, the transportation sector. When I say transportation sector, it includes aviation, it includes rail, it includes road, it includes which other one?
Water.
Even petrol. One government created 4,000 kilometers.